G. Well, it's Chris Winn. Winn's World Live. Winn's World Podcast. Excellent. Swing. Anyways, hey, so I know I'm on a little bit early, but I always do this thing just because of the fact that we don't talk about religion, we don't talk about politics, we don't talk about any of that stuff. If you're a keyboard warrior, stay the fuck off. The rest of it, man, we are talking about tattoos. That's what we talk about here. Tattoos. Okay? We talk about life, we talk about bros, we talk about motivation, we talk about all the good things in life, not the shitty ones. Okay? So that's it. If you got shitty questions, leave them at home. So anyways, tonight, dude, I'm super pumped. Tonight we're going to have Josh Arment, owner of Aloha Monkey. He has tons and tons and tons of knowledge. I don't know him a lot. I've known of him for quite some time. We've talked a few times, but we were trying to keep it brief because I really want to know what's up with him. It isn't my story, it's his. So, and I'm super looking forward to it. And the reason that I'm looking forward to it, man, is that he is one of the people that has a lineage behind him that is based in traditional tattooing, man, from as far back. We all know that Mike Malone was Sailor Jerry's apprentice and worked with him for years. So all you cats out here that are doing traditional tattoos, this is where it comes from. I'm super pumped because it comes from like Burt Grimm's, Bob Shaw, Colonel Todd, Bob Roberts, Phil Sims, Sailor Jerry, Mike Malone. Dude, it doesn't get any more old school than that. So I'm really looking forward to having this conversation because I want to know. And I don't know everything, man. I'm just telling you. I don't even claim to know half the shit that some people claim to know. That's why I'm doing this. I like to get to the bottom of shit. I like to get to what's going on. I like to know the stories. And if I can hear the stories firsthand, how's that? Because you know how it is, man. We're sitting around the tattoo shop. We're all jibber jabber, jibber jabber, jibber jabber, jibber jabber. You know what I mean? And stories get skewed, you know. I mean, you lost a girlfriend on the playground because of a story, right? So, anyways, so this is gonna be a real treat. Yeah, Lefty, let's learn some shit. That's what we're gonna do. See, now Lefty has a really good attitude about this. He wants to learn. So, and I'm super pumped that Josh should be logging on. Dude, you look good, man. Everything going well at home?
Yeah, home life's great. I mean, it's like you clean your house the 14th time in a row. It's like, yeah, the house is fine. I haven't given this house this much attention in 14 years.
Wow. I know.
So, it's nice.
I've been going through all my stuff in storage. I went and cleaned out my storage and brought it all home and shoved it in the garage, and I've just been going through it and just putting boxes aside, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go donate these to the Goodwill. Oh, guess what? The fucking Goodwill ain't open.
Yeah. Everybody's garage is filled with shit because they're like, oh, spring cleaning. And then they're like, fuck, can't take it anywhere.
Dude, I know, man. This is some bullshit. But have they given you any kind of date on when you guys are going to start out there?
The governor so kindly let us open on the 1st.
Yeah?
June 1st, he says he's going to let us open, but he's already jacked us off twice and not let us nuts, so I don't understand why he's going to go for it any different way. You know, every state's dealing with their own thing, you know what I mean? I can't complain, but he did say June 1st.
I know. We've got it a couple of times, and now we're at the end of July. So might as well be fucking August. So yeah. 2020 is a wash. Pretty much.
I just don't get it, you know? Like, I just don't get it. Like, why... if I was the governor of California, I would not do that to California.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I
God,
don't have
Josh, I wish you were the
buds.
governor of California, man. Really, I'm gonna vote for you. If you come out here and you run, I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna.
Not a chance in hell. But yeah, I can't believe that it's as calm as it is, and we're just docilely letting this happen. It's pretty. I'm blown away.
Yeah, I'm a little bit. I'm a little bit um, kind of sidetracked at the fact that more people haven't just kind of. Yeah, there you go, JoJo. What's up, Oliver? California's got his head up his ass, dude. This is one of the things. It doesn't the Constitution, and I know this is about this as far as I'm going to get politically right now, but
Yeah.
I think it says we the fucking people, or I think you know what I mean. We the people. So
Yeah,
I
we
think
give them the authority, and that's not what was going on.
yeah. So
And it's pretty much a shame that, like in tattooing, I mean, fuck, just I'm not that old. And like what we've heard about in tattooing and what it's been through and, crazy legalities in New York and, different outbreaks and different wars that it's been through. And it's never gotten hit like this. And it's only gotten hit like this because it's so exposed, I guess. I don't even know. I doubt it's even that, but it's just a shame that tattooing has gotten hit like this because it was really the one thing that was kind of like,
yeah,
it was like the rat that always got around everything. You
oh
know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
And
and I
just
mean
to get us all hemmed up like this, it's like it's really destroying some friends' lives, and yeah, it's a big thing.
yeah, it's a big shit show, and
But let's talk about something fun like tattooing and where we wish we were.
yeah, dude. So I know where you wish you were, and that's in
Yeah.
in your shop, Aloha Monkey.
Yep.
How's that place, dude? Or is it's just sitting there, just
No, I mean I go there and I do my rounds just like I'm sure many shop owners do. You go there and you find excuses to be there. I mean I'm like
right?
waxing baseboards and I'm just to be there.
Yeah,
But yeah, the monkey's great, man. I've been blessed to have been able to be the steward of that place.
yeah,
for,
man.
Since 2001, and it's been great. Yeah.
So you know what? Let's hear a little bit. We've just kind of gotten acquainted. I've known about you for quite some time. We've never really talked, and I really didn't want to do a lot of digging because I really want to. I fucking hate that. Oh, did you hear that? That so and so got blah 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 yada 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 yada. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh really? And then you're like, oh well, I'm gonna call him. And then they're like, oh, you know him? I'm like, oh yeah, kind of. Well, let me call him and see what's up. And it's fucking nothing like that. So that's why I like to go straight to the horse's mouth. Tell us about how you got started. Tell us about the early years. Tell us about you know what I mean? How you got into where you're at, man. And that's one of the things that I love is where you're at.
Yeah, me too. Shit, that's where we're all. Yeah, where you're at. That's what we all should be comfortable with, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it depends on how far you want to go back. Tattooing was always interesting to me. You could go as far back as like my first tattoo magazine that I ever bought. I'm oblivious to tattooing. Happened to be like Tattoo Inc. or something, and it happened to have an article from Tom DeVita in it. And it's not like Tom DeVita has a shitload of articles out there.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And especially for like 92 or something, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
So and I just remember like writing girls' phone numbers and like where to get dime bags and shit, like all over it. And it was just like the magazine. But then years later, I came back to it and it was like full blown a DeVita article in there. But it's crazy. So it just had the 90s hitters in it. And I just remember being like, man, this would be so awesome. Yes, Oliver, the world is totally fucked up.
Yes, Oliver, we all agree on that one, man.
Oh, boy. Yes.
I love that Oliver will just come out and just say it. The world is fucked. And you know what I mean?
And you want to know, and then stuff you don't want to know.
And that's shit you don't want to know, too, man. It's like, it's cool.
Anyway,
He's got a pretty rad mini bike collection, though.
So, yeah, this tattoo magazine was there. And anyway, just like any kid that was into, like, skateboarding or punk rock or music, I was just like, the tats were there. So I was, like, interested in that stuff. And so I just started pursuing it and, drawing stuff out of the magazines or whatnot. And then went to school for art, not like a art school, but just went to school for art. And then got a hold of a little Spalding rig and thought that I was going to like do it on my own and like hell save money. I had some nice stuff done I got tattooed at a little biker shop in Danville, Illinois, when I was like 17, and just got these little melting skulls on my arm, and it was super dope. Listened to Andrew Dice Clay, drank Mountain Dew.
Sounds like a good time.
In the corner. It was called a Chopper Shop, Tattoos and Chopper Shop.
Wow.
And so yeah, that was cool. But then anyway, so that was high school. Then got the first tattoo, and then now I'm gone through school. I'm into college now, and my parents were like pushing the 4-year thing, and I just really wasn't feeling it. So then I got this tattoo rig. Did my buddy's tattoo with like a 6-flat, like some tribal, like some Spalding tribal around his ankle with a 6-flat and a 3-liner. In our kitchen, just ripping.
Dude, a 6-flat will do some damage, bro.
He is still my dear true friend, and if it wasn't for that leg, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. So I do owe Matt a lot.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you, bud, for trusting me. So then get the rig, realize that's not how you do it, because the stuff that I was getting wasn't like that. I was getting tattooed at Louis Lombi's down in Florida. We were living in West Palm at the time. And so I was getting some stuff there. And I really thought it was state-of-the-art stuff. And then flew back to Illinois to see my parents, because that's where I'm kind of from, is Illinois. Went back there, and this lady had opened a shop near where my folks were living, and so I went there, and that's where I met Keith Underwood, Denise Wolf, and that's where I got an apprenticeship.
Rad.
Yeah. And Denise was really cool, man. I met Keith the first day. He was an apprentice at the time. And then Denise was just cool. She had a tattoo from Ed Hardy. I thought that was the raddest thing ever. She had a tattoo on her wrist that was like from Ed Hardy, drawn on freehand, badass.
Oh, yeah.
She really had a lot of lineage behind her, you know, from Wes Grimm to Bob Osland. And she herself was such a meticulous applicator of tattoos that without some of the things she taught me just about stretching or about the little nuances of the technical side, dude, without her, I mean, I didn't learn that shit from Rollo. You know what I mean?
Right.
So she was Denise Wolf, man. I give it up to her for sure.
That's dope, man. So when did you move from there? Is that where you stayed for a long time? But how did you get to?
Nope, I was only there for a couple years.
Yeah.
And then Keith and I really chummed it up at the time. Really, the only people I knew in tattooing at the time, other than Denise, but around my age, were Keith Underwood and Nick Colella.
Oh,
they were my
nice.
two contacts. We didn't even. I mean, Nick knew some people because he had been in it longer than both me and Keith, but we didn't know anybody, so we just kind of hung out. But then, yeah, Keith and I chummed it up, and then he moved up to work with Mike Malone.
Yeah.
See, we all met through this trying to purchase a bulldog thing. And then Nick ended up scoring this bulldog for us through Rollo and got the machines to us. And then Keith and I just started corresponding with Malone. And it was like the most amazing thing because Keith and I were like reading the American Tattoo Master. Like he had just finished his apprenticeship. I was in one. And we were like reading this thing like, dude, would it be the craziest thing if you could like hold a Sailor Jerry original? Like, what would that be like? And I mean, we would like go nuts about it. Like, oh my God, dude. And what if, oh my God, this guy Mike Malone has all of them. Oh my God. He has all the books. Oh my God. What would it be like? I mean, we were going nuts about it. Like kids just sitting there like at diners late at night or whatever.
Right.
And just doing it on over it. And it was fun. And then, yeah. Then Keith moved up to work with Mike. And so I stayed there for another year. And then I moved up to live with me, Keith, and Mike Malone, and that is where the party really started. I mean, that was really cool because you're like living with your mentor and you're living with your mentor and your friend, and you're trying to learn this trade of tattooing still. I mean, I was only a couple years in.
Right.
And
where you're just kind of trying to get the hang of it. You're kind of getting your feet.
I have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still making needle. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just if a 7-round worked well one time, I was like, what was different? How did that not just railroad track? Or
Yeah.
How was that good?
Right.
You know, just a good needle was amazing.
Right.
To have on a day. So yeah, you're trying to figure that out. And then you live with the personality of Mike Malone, which was just like, it was like living with an uncle or a grandfather. It was like a weird, like respect and playfulness about living with that guy that was pretty wild.
Yeah, I'll bet, man. I'll bet. And how long were you there?
We were all together in that house about a year and a half.
Wow. Very cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, and you know what? One of the things that, man, I swear to God, Josh, since we talked the other day, and you, we were talking about the advancements of tattooing and life in general, and
like us trying to figure out an iPad.
Yeah, yeah, totally, man. Yeah, right. Totally. But you know, but you said to me, and I still haven't been able to get this out of my head. You were like, oh, you know what I mean? Rollo would have said Jerry would have loved all of it.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, Rollo loved his little laptop. I mean, I remember taking him to Best Buy once to get him a laptop, and that was the gnarliest excursion ever because he had just gotten this PT Cruiser. I'll go into the technology piece, but this is just hilarious. He gets this PT Cruiser. He's always smoking this big-ass cigar. We're in the suburbs. This dude just rolls straight up to, like, park at the yellow curb. I'm like, well, it's a yellow curb. He's like, tow it. I'm like, dude, just don't park at a yellow curb. I mean, but he couldn't walk very well, you know, so, I mean, he's in his slippers, so he's got to get in the Best Buy there. And so we go into Best Buy, and everybody wants to say hi to him. And I'm like, dude, the first kid that I see, I'm like, hey, just don't talk to him that much. Just let him do his thing. So he's out there doing his thing, you know, walking around the store, and he was just rough with people, you know. But I think it was just like a playful, like trying to be an old dick just to get a rise out of you. And so it was fun. But if you weren't ready for it, it was like,
yeah, totally,
it would come off a little wild. But yeah, it was. He was always saying that, you know, Jerry was all about the advancements and stuff. You know, he was always trying to push it, trying to get the new tech. You know, he was one of the first to sterilize just so the stuff would look good.
Right.
PT loser for sure. Yeah, so he would always talk about, like, if Jerry had a computer, like, he would sit there and he was, like, fascinated by the computer and being able to buy his chalk toys, and eBay would blow his mind. He just thought it was the greatest thing that he had access to all these things that he had, like, artifact hunted for so long, you know.
Right.
And he's like, Jerry would love this stuff. He would have had computers. He would have been into all this. I mean, just the efforts that he put through all the letters that we get to read about him, you know.
Oh, I know.
If that dude had email, he would have been.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. And it's crazy too to see some of the letters that he wrote, and Huck, you know what I mean? And these guys were just like well, it was the only correspondence, but they were just letter writing, you know, and it's so great.
You're sitting in these dead ass tattoo shops half the time.
Oh yeah. And that's, you know, that's one of the things that a lot of the new kids on the block, no disrespect, but they don't understand that, like, when this whole thing came around that we're going through right now, I was like, oh, I can do 3 months. I've done 8 winters, you know, eight slow winters. And I went out. So, you know what I mean? I left Burt Grimm's and went straight out and worked with Catfish Carl out in 29 Palms. And these guys would go out on deployment out at the Marine Corps base, and they'd be gone out there 6 weeks, man. You know what I mean? And we'd be sitting on our asses doing nothing but old lady tats. You know what I mean? Maybe a baby mama's name and shit like that, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there wasn't a whole lot of it going on. And then when it got cold, man, I was cold in the desert, you know. So we starved through a little bit of time, you know, and then I went straight to San Diego, man, and I was sitting on the beach. I was working at a beach shop, and beach shops typically from November, back in the day, from November to February, nothing. You know what I mean? It was just so crazy. So, but I realized that a lot of these guys had the time to paint flash, had the time to write letters, had the time to do all that stuff because of the fact that there was downtime, plenty of downtime.
Totally. And they used their downtime like it was an actual job because they came from actual real jobs because they were grown ass men when they got these jobs called tattooer. You know,
right? And that's
so they came from jobs. So what I'm saying is they had 8 hours. They used the 8 hours as 8 hours of stuff. You know, in in my best actions as a tattooer, it's when I use the shop time as shop time. When I've gone off on like a vendor or something where you're just not really paying attention, your workload gets too crazy, you're just surviving, blah blah blah. That doesn't work. But when you treat the 8 hours like it's a job, everything gets better. Your camaraderie around the shop gets better. Your tattooing gets better. Everything gets better.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerry used to freak out when people would sleep in the shop. Just drive him nuts. Like those 8 hours are for something shop related. Even Rollo would trip out when body piercing was introduced. Rollo was tripping. He's like, "Well, what do you do?" To the body piercer, and the body piercer's like, "I body pierce." He's like, "You body pierce and you read, or what do you do around here? Like what?" And he's like, "You're making needles."
Yeah, you're like, doing something.
You're making my needles because you have to do something.
Right.
And so the piercer was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you're making my needles because you got to do something." So,
let me ask you, on your normal day, do you still kind of keep that rhythm of
on my normal day, I just try to stay working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because fuck, I don't answer the devil's play toy, homeboy.
Oh,
I'll be out of there, you know what I mean? So it's like I try to stay working. That's when I feel the best. When I'm being able to express myself tattooing. And here's the thing. Rewind a second to when you're saying slow winters and all that. That's when motherfuckers didn't want tattoos. They want them now, and we're not allowed to give them.
Yeah, I know, dude. I know.
I got people knocking my door down. It's like summer shade. It's like I can't go there. So it's like people want them now.
Yeah.
Now we're just told we can't do them. And that's a total different thing than sitting there trying to like sell a guy on an extra $10 for red in the eyes or something.
Right. Yeah, I get you. But that's one of the things, and somebody asked me early on, because I've done quite a bit of traveling and private tattooing and stuff like that throughout my career, and they're like, "Oh, what? And hey, dude, let's do this." And I'm like, "Oh, look, man, if Sean Anderson isn't working, and Aaron Bell isn't working, and Fit Buchanan ain't working, and all the dudes that I look up to ain't working, I ain't working either, bro. Sorry, just ain't gonna happen." And I've been getting hit up left and right, man, with people that are like, "Oh, when you guys coming back? When you guys coming back? When you guys coming back?" I don't know. So it's, people want to get
regulation
tattooed.
didn't help anything. I mean, never did. I went almost a decade and a half with no regulation in my community, and it was fine. It was actually better than it is now. There was less tattooing going on in shops and less tattooing going on with scratchers. The regulation hasn't done anything except penalize the people that are actually conducting business by our standards of such high standards. It's
Right.
not doing anything to scratchers.
Yeah, no.
At all.
No.
So it backfired. Whoever started that, hey, it backfired. Stop doing that.
It just keeps backfiring, which is...
Just stop letting this thing backfire.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the biggest fuck-ups of this whole... what do you want to call it, country, whatever the fuck is. We keep fucking up. We keep making mistakes. We aren't learning from our mistakes.
That's just human. That's not country. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm just saying, as tattooing and as a community, we just need to just simmer down. Let's just be happy we do what we do.
Yeah.
And then go back to the slow winters. You got, going back to sleeping in the shop and the 8-hour days and all that. And what keeps me sane is just staying busy is what I think the best thing is. And I say that having fun because busy can be fun,
Oh, yeah.
Slamming tattoo shop is some of the most fun heartbeat you can get in a career.
Without a doubt.
What's upsetting is the guys that have never seen the cold, starving winters that sit in a tattoo shop that could be humming, that it's dude, get in the water, go with the drift, you know what I mean? Why are you being a stick in the mud, count your blessings, let's go. And I just want to know, I'm very curious as a business owner, as we come back out of this, whatever the hell this thing was, this big pandemic, if people are going to have bad habits carried forward, or if there's going to be some new blessings counted from a new generation that had it spoiled when they got into it and then see it go not cool for a few months, are they going to come back stronger? All right, now I'm
I appreciate
now
this.
I got this.
Yeah, I appreciate this. I hope that
Just
there's some of
appreciate
it.
it, man. If you appreciate it, it'll appreciate you. Every old tattooer tells you that.
Oh
Be
yeah,
good to
without a
it,
doubt.
it'll give to you. You give to it, it gives to you.
Right, right. So, what are you working on? What'd you work on today at home? I mean, painting, drawing.
I wasn't home today.
Oh my God, were you social distancing with a mask on? I'm just fucking with you, bro.
Not at all. I played 18 this morning, though. I had an 18.
Oh, that's right. I saw you.
Golf. That was fun. Got out there. It was a little brisk, but that was fun. Got to ride my motorcycle today. That was awesome.
Nice.
What do I do when I'm not tattooing? Well, my card still says tattooer.
Right.
So it does not say paint.
Right.
You know, I'll paint flash, and I've, done some things for some people that I've traded with over the years and haven't had time to really paint for them.
Right.
But I like tattooing. That's what I get off on. As a matter of fact, on one of those paintings I was doing for a buddy of mine, Nick, I was like, dude, is this Reaper? And I'm thinking, I could have shaded this with a mag in 15, 20 minutes. This is my fourth layer of black.
Right.
What the fuck am I doing?
Right.
And so it's like, it just takes the wind out of my sails. It's like, yeah, I can paint. It's not what my fucking card says.
Right. It says tattooer.
Let me express myself the way that my card says that I can express myself. Like,
right.
That's what I do.
That's cool.
That's what I gave. That's why my back hurts. Not painting.
For sure.
Riding motorcycles is cooler to me. I do that. Yeah.
What about music, man? What kind of music?
Oh, I'm diverse, man. I'm all over the place. I love getting into it. As a matter of fact, I just got recently exposed. Get out of town. Nope, you're going to trip. I just recently got exposed to Run the Jewels.
Wow.
I'm like last on the block for Run the Jewels. But anyway, I thought it was kick-ass. I saw it on this little show called Tiny Desk. And so I just think they're hilarious. They're like, yeah, they're just fun to watch, and they're like comedians. So, and I like what they sing about.
Yeah, I just got turned on to Black Rebel Motorcycle Club.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, who the fuck is this? And I was like, oh, wow, this is good, man.
Yeah.
And then I remember, I was like, oh, wait a minute. And I remember, I think it was the Ink Slingers Ball. There was an after party. And I remember fucking Mike Roach being there. I think I went with Mike Roach. And, dude, I think black leather motorcycle, whatever, that, you know what I mean? I think they were playing there. And I was like, oh, wow, dude, they're still around? You know? And I'm like, but, dude, my chick's been listening to them for a while, and it's so good. And I've really been kind of exploring different genres of music, and then going back. Like we went to the beach today. We went surfing, and which was so nice, man. Just windows down, man. You know what I mean? Surfboard hanging out of the back. You know, listening to the Damned. You know, and I was awesome. Like, oh God, just listen to Smash It Up and Neat Neat, and I was like, oh man, dude, I love this shit. You know, so yeah, I've been kind of going all over the place, you know, and another band that my chick turned me on to, super chill tunes, and I've been painting to it, called 07. Have you ever heard of those? Dude, check that out. It's actually 0 spelled out 7, but they're like a super mellow, just kind of, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. As old as I am, I would probably call it like kind of trip something, whatever, you know what I mean? It's just, but it's really, really cool. And it really, really, really fun. I'm really enjoying it. I write a lot.
I get turned on to so much different music because we have so many different people that work there. You know, I mean, I have a shop of, you know, there's quite a few of us there.
How many artists do you have there?
11 of us.
Wow.
Well, there's 7 artists. Then we also have desk staff and body piercing and the like.
Wow. I would love to check that shop out. I've always wanted to fucking travel out there.
Yeah, it's nice.
I bet.
But yeah, so we have so many different people there, you know, I mean, different ages, and so we share the Spotify, and so I just get turned on to so much different music that my tastes go all over the place. I mean, I was, you know, hip hop and punk rock growing up. That's just kind of like what I came from,
right.
And that's still basically what my roots are. But I love good old bluegrass. I love soul.
God, I love that stuff.
There for a spell when I was running a shop for somebody, before I took over the Monkey, I had heard from Tom DeVita that if you listen to NPR, it just keeps them mellow. Nobody has an opinion. You can't get them too agitated on metal, too depressed on this. So we would always listen to NPR in the shop. And this is when Scott, like right after Scott had Scott Harrison had retaught him how to tattoo.
Right.
And so I was like, all right, NPR it is. I'm running this show by myself. You know, I'm young as fuck.
Right.
I'm going to put on NPR. And so I would just put on NPR and work. And it was awesome.
Yeah, I tend to, when I really need to get serious, I tend to listen to stuff that has absolutely no vocals, or it has vocals in a different language. I don't know. I listen to some
awesome.
Dude, I listen to some weird shit, like, man, you know what I mean? Like Japanese flute and drum music and shit. Dude, it's just fucking weird, man. You know what I mean? It's just weird. I don't know. I'm a fucking weirdo, but I'm a punk rocker fucking from way back.
My friend Crystal just said the best in the burbs. That's right, Crystal, the best in the burbs. That's
nice.
An ad off of something Rollo ran as an early Yellow Pages ad.
Oh, really?
And it just said, it was like just a little corner ad, and so he always would draw just a little, like, just a little nibbed out black on white board, you know, just on illustration board. And so one was best in the burbs, and then another one he did with a little monkey head, and it was like a little devil with the little pitchfork horns and the little pointy beard and
right
spiked mustache, and it said burning up the burbs with smoking tattoos. That was
wow, that is a good one, dude. That's a good one. I would love to see that one.
Yeah.
That's bitching.
Dig it out.
So you probably have a lot of really cool memorabilia.
Yeah, there is.
You know, dude, I love collecting of stuff. What do you use, jumping into machine works, what do you use when it comes down to machines?
All of them. I mean, they're literally tools to me, and it's like, dude, if that tool makes it hella efficient, I don't use any of the things. I don't use any of the
pins,
toothbrush looking ones.
Right.
I don't use those. Just because I haven't really used one. I've had one used on me, just like in a little experiment. Me and Rox were just doing this thing, and she showed me a little bit, but it's like, she does amazing saturation with it, and I just haven't had that. So I do use rotary. I was brought up on coil machines, you know, being around Underwood, him always building machines since back at Lucky 7, Denise Wolf days, to being around Rollo. I mean, you had to know how to build one.
Oh, without a doubt.
It to work.
Yeah.
So that's where my start became there, and I really wasn't even sold on a rotary until I used, because I was using all Shankmates. I was just Brian Hibbard, and I mean, he came out of Lucky 7 right behind me.
Right.
He went into Keith's little machine shop, and then Brian came out of that machine shop, and then he just started taking it on. And so I was getting good machines from him, but then I didn't get onto the rotary until JoJo came up with the one that went up and down.
Right.
It wasn't the round and round one, it was the direct one.
Yeah.
But anyway, that son of a bitch changed my game. My tattoo started healing hella good. Just the skin trauma was less, the saturation was better, my hand didn't hurt. Yeah, so I still use that thing all the time.
Yeah,
and I use the Shag D20. I like that.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've never used one of JoJo's.
Oh man.
But I went from.
Yeah, they're all tools.
Yeah, well, and I always looked at them as hammers. You know what I mean? A carpenter's got to have a certain hammer for the certain job. Yeah. So I've never been, and you know, obviously, man, coming from Burt Grimm's, you know, Rick gave me my two first machines in parts in a sack. They were Jim Dandies, you know, and I couldn't until they ran perfect, and I couldn't tattoo. I also had to make my own tubes, mix my own inks. Let me tell you, man, making a fucking tube, whew, that shit.
I never had to do that, luckily.
Oh my God, that shit was fucking rough. I
I
tell you,
have some that are made and soldered like that.
yeah, dude. I swear to God, man. Best story. Rick loved to tell this story about my first spring cut, and yeah, my first spring cut, man. I fucking sliced my thumb all the way to the bone, and he goes, "I told you not to hang on to that thing." And I was like, "Oh, that's all he said." He's like, "I'm gonna stop bleeding all over the fucking place, and I think we're gonna go get hot dogs."
Yeah, that's great.
So, and that's one of the things, man, is that having that old school bring up, you know what I mean, grow up, man, through that stuff, really gives you a different respect for what it is that we get to do every day. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm very fortunate, man, that I can still go see Carrie Barba and that Burt Grimm's is still open.
Yep.
And she's done a great job, and I my hat's off to her for keeping the place open, man, because it wasn't cheap or easy. And she took it on the chin and did that shit, man. I'm so proud of her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you ever been in that place?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it's amazing. She did such a great job.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and I love the vat, dude. Like literally, man, Rick almost got me the first time to stick my hand in the vat of Vaseline. He took the top off and he goes, "Look at this shit." And he goes, "You know what? I dropped a machine in there." And I said, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, you should probably reach in there and see if you can grab it." I don't want to reach in there and see if you can grab it. And we didn't have no fucking gloves. Bro, we didn't use gloves. I didn't start tattooing with gloves.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. I mean, when I first started tattooing, he had built me a machine rack with 5 test tubes in it where he would drop Hexol in each one. If I don't know if you know what Hexol is. It's kind of, yeah, Hexol. Dude, it used to be a standard across the board for tattoo shops. A little bit of water and Hexol, and he would, after he would get done tattooing, he would rinse the machine, dip it in bleach, rinse it, dip it in bleach, and then stick it in the Hexol. Yeah. And then as soon as somebody would come in to get tattooed again, he would do the exact same thing backwards. Pull it out, rinse it, dip it in bleach, rinse it. But let me just say this, and I know kids don't try this at home.
Probably a good little like anti-COVID recipe.
Oh, yeah. And you know what the thing is that like I was like, you know what? Even if we were able to tattoo right now, nobody's got any paper towels. You know what I mean? So what are we gonna have to go? We're gonna have to mat aside the bucket, clean water, rip the bottom half of your t-shirt off or something like that. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
But Rick always told me, man, he goes, when you make a needle, he goes, you'll know how good you make it the 3rd time, because 3 through 5 are the best tattoos you're going to do with that 3-needle liner.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, and God, if it wasn't true. And then I went to Catfish Carl out at Realistic out in 29 Palms, and we were scrubbing, we were soaking them in a clave, or in a God, what the fuck is that thing called? Ultrasound. We were soaking them in ultrasound. Then we would pull them out, put them in some bleach, scrub each needle, lay the needle in your hand like this, and then scrub the needle down this way.
Oh yeah.
Get them all cleaned up and everything, and then we were heat sterilizing them. We had a heat sterilizer. And that's the first time. And then I remember getting there, and he's like, "Oh, we wear gloves here." And I was like, "Oh, what?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, we wear gloves. I'm not tattooing without gloves."
Yeah, it's gonna be like the new shops. It'll be like we wear masks here, and it's like, oh shit.
And everybody, and the thing about it is people are really tripping out about the mask thing. How do you feel about it?
I think it's corny to wear some dirty ass cotton mask around your face.
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything. We're bloodborne pathogens trained. We know that doesn't gonna do anything. I mean, yeah, okay for a sneeze, but so does the corner of your fucking arm. I mean, it's as effective as the corner of your arm.
Yeah.
It's insane. And people are wearing the same one over and over again. And then once you touch it, once you use it, once you sneeze in it, you can't wear the damn thing all day.
No. You can't.
So, and then what are you going to walk around in? Some graffiti mask? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
And then by then, you might as well just put on the gas mask by that point.
Yeah, I know, dude. I know.
It's
But
like everybody does not need to wear a mask. And especially the ill health cotton thing that's just like wearing your girlfriend's underwear on your face.
yeah,
Would be better.
I would rather wear my girlfriend's underwear on my face.
Totally. That was my first COVID mask of this entire thing was my chick's underwear.
Dude,
Like, you got it.
sick.
I'm going to do a YouTube video and sell the shit out of these things.
Dude, you should. You should, man. And we all need to make a buck, bro. You know what I mean? So you should jump right on that stuff, man. But so what do you hope happens when we get back to this?
I hope it comes back sevenfold and it's busier than snot.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
I hope it cleaned out what it needed to clean out so that, you know, whatever happened for a reason. And that it's just, you know, I hope it just goes back. I have hope. And in me having hope, I hope that it just goes back to it being slammed. And people that want to work can work. And people that don't want to work and people that want to live in fear, they can live in fear and they don't have to work. I'm not going to pay for them, but they don't have to work.
Kudos. For
and
sure.
then the people that want to work can work. And people that feel healthy go out and they do things. People that don't feel healthy, they stay home. But I'm tired of being a healthy person being told to stay home.
Yeah, I agree.
So if healthy people want to come to my tattoo shop, come there. If you don't want to be healthy, don't come there.
Yeah, totally.
It's just pretty cut and dry. I'm not going to treat my customers like cattle and give them electrical thermometer tests or stick a thermometer in their mouth or their. I mean, it's just no.
Yeah.
And to command someone to wear something, a mask or a glove, and then the ridiculousness of like treating people like cattle, like they have to sit outside and one person in a building at a time. Says who? What are these mandates, you know? So what I don't want in my hope is that people start doing all this social shaming and self-policing. That's got to not happen.
Right.
Like
Agreed.
if that dude wants to do what that dude wants to do, let that dude do what that dude wants to do. If you want to do what you want to do, you do you.
Yeah.
But don't be calling out what that dude's doing.
Well,
Mind your
man,
business.
you know, the fact is that it is a free country, and we have been able to do what we want to do when we want to do it. So I hope it goes back to that.
Lefty just hit me with that. That's ridiculous.
What did it say?
Ridiculous. Here's the deal. We are bloodborne pathogens trained, ladies and gentlemen. Hate to tell you that they are totally ignoring it, and they're not like prorating my license. I'm not getting a license proration. I'm still paying into this thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm licensed. The chick at Costco doesn't know anything about bloodborne pathogens. Neither does the chick at Walmart. That's essential. I mean, I'm just lost.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll all go away soon, and we can get back to doing what we were born to do.
Amen.
You know?
Let's talk about cool tattoo stuff.
Well, hey, let me just hear. I want to hear a good tattoo story from you, bro. Just a good old-fashioned tattoo, shitty client, dirty client, whatever you want to do. Just, you know what I mean? A prank that somebody pulled on.
Oh, man, there's good ones.
Oh, I know, dude.
I don't know. I mean, there was back in those, you bringing up the cold winter days, like there was a cold winter day in this, I'm a young tattooer. I mean, I might be 23 years old, 22.
Yeah.
But, and I'm like, you know, I'm young, dude, and I have to like somehow create an assertive role in this situation. I mean, I'm working the shop by myself. I'm at the Monkey, and, you know, I got a desk girl, but she's like, what, 18 or something, you know, and she's just like twirling her hair or whatever. But it's like late night, I haven't done anything all day, and I'm like just trying to sell this drunk guy on this Reaper. It's just a Rollo Reaper. It's the one where he's like snapping at the end of the blade.
Oh, love that one.
And he's like, and he's got like a 13 on his, you know, it's just the one. And I was like, oh God, I have to do this. So I'm like, he's like, how much for this? And I'm like, I don't know, dude. This one's 200. How much for this? This one's like 180. How much for this? This one's 150. All right, I'll do this. All right. Now, you give me, what do you say? He goes, you give me red in the eye. And I was like, no, that'd be 160. And he's like, no, 150. And I'm like, dude, 160 if you want the red in the eye. If not, it's 150. He's like, all right. So he sits down. He's got his drunk old lady with him. And sits down in the chair, and as I'm like got the stencil on him and about to start ripping, he goes, and this motherfucker better do a good job. And before he could get job out of his mouth, I peeled his head back and I was running the machine over his eye, and I was like, I will blind you now, motherfucker. And he was just like, ah! He was kicking in his chair. And then I just, as smooth as that, let him back up, and I was shitting my pants. Let him back up, and I grabbed his arm and just started tattooing. And he was just like, I like this dude. I fucking like this dude. But that's what you had to do to get the job done. And I got paid, and it wasn't a zero.
Perfect, man. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, that was a funny one.
Dude,
yeah, we have all kinds of good tales.
Jojo gave that one a big thumbs up.
Bob Malone, you know, I mean, that's just a natural one. I mean,
yeah, let's hear a good Malone story.
He had a tendency to just, I mean, like, there would be a woman that would come in and she'd be, like, asking him if he could even draw a rose. I mean, could you even fucking draw? And I'm sitting over there, like, bitch, I'm on, like, my 7th rose page. I'm trying to learn how to draw a rose from this guy, you know? And he'd just be like, yeah, sit down, and he'd draw it on her, and then she'd be like, all right, cool, I'm just going to, like, check it out and think about it. And you have to understand the context is it's suburbia.
Right.
Where I'm at.
Yeah.
This is Mike Malone fresh off the island, like, wet. Like, not ready for this.
Not at all.
So this lady just starts strolling out, and he's like, hey, you can't just walk out with that. And she's like, oh, I'm going to just check it out, blah, blah. Because he just drew it on her in pen.
Right.
She walks out, and he's like, hey, don't let the drawbridge of my castle hit you on the ass on the way out. I'm like, aren't we trying to build a business here? You're like trying to start a shop around here, right? That's going to happen. You need to, like, set that up in the beginning. Maybe. You don't just draw it on her.
Yeah.
Maybe show her one. You fucked yourself, old man. But yeah, he would do things like that a lot.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Or just like silly, like, being in the suburbs, people were using debit cards and credit cards a lot. Even though it was 99, 2000, people were still starting to use those things. And
yeah.
he didn't fucking like that because it was a 0 day to him.
Yeah.
It's like, no, Mike, you have the money. And he's like, nope. I'm like, it's in your account. Go on your laptop. It's in there. And he's like, nope. 0 day. Tomorrow, credit card machine's broken. He would just tell us we couldn't take credit card for like 2 or 3 days just so that his little pocketbook got a little bit fat with cheddar. Our PC drops. You motherfucker.
Dude.
Like, we aren't taking business so you can have cash.
Yeah, totally.
What the fuck? Dude. He's the worst for business. As a matter of fact, years later, Candy and I and Keith are sitting around with Rollo, and this is towards the end of his life in Chicago, and he was saying something to the effect of, like, I gave you one hell of a tattoo shop. That was, this. That was this. And Candy goes, hey, old man, quit stroking your own ego. That kid built a shop. And I was like, thank you, Candy. Can the little dude drink? I mean, come on now. I've had this old man my whole life. And he's like, yeah, I guess. I'm like, yeah.
That's some
he
good.
Wasn't the best customer service.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you, that was. I remember working for Kinsey Bolson in San Diego, man, and when I first walked in that shop, we didn't have a copy machine, we didn't have a thermofax, we didn't have nothing. He's like, you don't need any of that shit. And I'm like, people want to pay with credit cards. And he goes, fuck credit cards, dude. If it ain't cash, it ain't fucking, you know what I mean? Like, that was it, dude.
It ain't real.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Lefty just asked what brought him to Minnesota. Big pie wagon is what he would describe her as. He called pie wagons large women. So a pie wagon is what brought him to Minnesota. He fell in love with a big Scandinavian woman who was a cosmetic tattooer out here. And he met her on the island, you know what I mean? She smoked cigars, she was tall, she was into what he was into, so they just like started hitting it off. And then she had what basically was a family here, she had a cosmetic career in cosmetic tattooing. He wanted to make her a picture tattooer. She did not develop well into a picture tattooer. She's no longer with us, but she did not develop well into a picture tattooer. He later married her. Her name was Linda Malone. Linda Currian was her real name. And but she had like a grandbaby, and she had like children, and Rollo didn't have any of that towards the end of his life, and so that was kind of nice.
Yeah.
And so he was helping her, and so he liked to contribute to people. He was a very good teacher, very great storyteller. And so he would contribute to people, and he liked having that little bit of family around.
Yeah, I'm sure, as we all do, man. I mean, that's kind of why we're, you know what I mean, in this whole thing, man. We just got a question, and it says, when Monkey opens up, I need ink bad. It's not a question, bro. That's a statement.
Statement, and we got you.
Oh yeah, man. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
We are dying to get in there and tattoo.
Yeah, don't think I'm not. I mean, this is just totally got my wind knocked out. Been knocked out of my set a little bit.
Yeah, well.
You're welcome, buddy.
Yeah. I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to give another little Rollo story. So this is just living with him. We live with this man, and this one's for my girlfriend Alicia. She'll get a trip out of it. You'd live with this man. He had the entire downstairs to himself, and Keith and I lived in like an in-law situation, like a little kitchen. But that's where our laundry was for the whole place.
Yeah.
So Keith and I lived upstairs with our own kitchen and shit. He had his own stuff. And then we had a laundry room that we all had to share. So I had to go downstairs past his bedroom to get to the laundry room. So I'd be going down there, the lights be off. He slept real erratically. He had sleep apnea. And so I'd be like fumbling around, carrying my hamper or whatever, and trying to figure out where the lights are. And his door would be cracked. And sometimes I'd just push it open to use his light from his door to turn the laundry room light on.
Yeah.
And it became to the point, because there's a pattern, that 9 times out of 10, if I fucking push the door open, I had to like just turn away, because the one time that I didn't, I turn in there and he's laying on his bed, and he had a tendency to just do it like straight Porky Pig style, cartoon character style. Big ass polo shirt and no pants. And so I remember just pushing, oh, come on, Mike, you gotta wear pants. You gotta wear pants. We're sharing a house here.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
That's classic.
That was terrorizing.
Yeah.
There was another great one where Keith got him a Red Ryder, a little Daisy fucking
BB gun.
Air gun.
Yeah.
And so I would just be trying to read out on the porch, and he'd be in the living room on the couch, and he would ask me to grab a box of saltines, and I'm on the porch just trying to read a damn book.
Right.
In between us is living room, dining room, porch, and then the backyard. Asked me to grab a box of saltines, and I would sit there, read my book, and I would put saltines on the edge of the railing of the deck, and he would shoot them with the air BB gun. And I would set another cracker up, and he would just take them down. I'd just keep setting crackers up and reading. It was a trip.
Dude, that is just, these stories are...
Oh, my boy wants the PB&J story.
Oh.
Oh, Steve, what up?
We gotta hear it.
The PB&J story. So, after Rollo had terrorized his downstairs, he was amazingly, like, well showered and bathed and never stunk. He was just awesome. Always clean clothes. He was really good about that, but he just didn't keep tidy around anything, really.
Right.
This dude would be like, I mean, we would pay our desk girl to go over there and just clean up after him. And this poor little girl, I mean, she's just straight out of a suburban high school. She does not need to see Mike Malone, Porky Pig, walking around, as she's trying to clean up after this guy. So we would, like, set the stage and be like, Mike, you got to put your jams on at least. Because he had some sick-ass old 70s jams, like the real jams.
Oh, yeah.
But we're talking it's 2001, and fools still got real jams.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah. Faded, but they were real ass 70s jams.
Sick, dude. So sick.
So, anyway, so he terrorized his soul downstairs, and so he would start sneaking up and using our couch and our refrigerator, and then start storing his stuff in our refrigerator and start using our stove. And I was just like pissed, man, because we had like a nice little setup.
Right.
And so this dude, I come home one night late. He's downstairs in his area, and I sit on our couch. Well, he's damn near already broke the couch. So when you sit in the couch, one end of it's no springs, so you actually sit through the couch. So you're just on the cushion and the 1x6 in the back of your knee, you know?
Yeah.
And I grab the controller and I feel it, and it feels like it melted. And I'm like, oh, shit. Because it's all, like, warbly on the back.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, I think this thing melted. So I pull the batteries out. Batteries look fine. All right. Put the thing back on there, and as I'm putting it back on there, some of the little, what I thought was melted plastic moved a little bit. And I was like, oh, weird. So I just scratch at it a little bit, and it looks red underneath my fingernail. And I'm like, oh, hell no. I noticed that there was a little plate. He loved toast. He would always make himself toast. Any kind of shit carbohydrate, he loved it.
Yeah.
So he would just have this toast, and I saw this little plate of toast crumbs, little jelly on it. This motherfucker, jam and jelly sitting there, sat down, fell in the couch, didn't have a knife, put the jelly on the toast and smeared it on with the back of the remote control. Booyah. Left it there to dry.
Boom. Boom.
Yeah. That's what I lived with. You know?
That is too fucking good for. That's too fucking good for anything, dude. That's amazing.
He wasn't gonna get up and get a knife. As a matter of fact, one time I had this Jack LaLanne juicer. I'm juicing, and I would hear his slippity little slippers come up behind me, and he'd put his fucking chubby chin right on my shoulder, and he'd go, "What you doing?" Like, I'm juicing. Why? Well, so I don't look like you, motherfucker, when I get old. I don't know. And he'd be like, what's that? I'd be like, that's a beet. What are you going to do with it? I'm going to drink it. Why? He was just fucking me. It was the worst. So I was like, listen, dude, mind your business. So he waddles over to the fridge, grabs the mayonnaise out, grabs the eggs out, grabs a frying pan. I'm still just grinding away, juicing.
Yeah.
Takes the mayonnaise jar lid off, puts the frying pan on the stove, starts the fire. Takes 3 fingers into the mayonnaise jar, throws it into the frying pan, and then commences to break his scrambled eggs into the frying mayonnaise rather than butter.
Oh!
Which he asked, why am I juicing? And I'm thinking,
because I'm not frying my eggs in fucking mayonnaise, man.
mayonnaise!
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Oh my god! But at this point, man, dude, you gotta be just sitting there thinking about shit like this, just dying.
Oh, I was in awe. Just watching him do it is the best ever.
Oh, dude.
It was the best ever.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. That was one thing.
It was like, having something between a 10-year-old and a grandfather in your house. A senile grandfather. I don't know. And your hero at the same time. And fucking Dolly to you. You know, like, whatever.
Yeah. Weird. Wow, that is amazing, man. Thank you for sharing those stories with us, bro. I really appreciate it.
That was fun to think about. Thank you.
Well, you know, man, I think that the one thing that we really need to do is to remember to look back, see where we've come from, because it'll give us a pretty clear path on where we're going.
No doubt.
You know? And what we want to do and the way we want to be. You know, I grew up, I got into tattooing because nobody liked it. You know, I became a tattooer because I scared little old ladies in the store. You know? I could walk down the street and people didn't fucking look twice at you, man, because they were like, oh, Jesus.
Thanks, Greg.
Dude, Greg, amazing guy right there.
Hell yeah.
He's gonna be on next week. He just hit me up today and said he was gonna be on. So he's gonna be on in a couple of episodes, which I'm super excited about.
Super amazing artist.
Yeah, dude. And you know, I'll tell you, being able to do this and speak to guys like you, Jojo, Robert, Greg, is just such a blessing because I'm getting to hear these stories, and everybody is getting to hear these stories, and it's getting documented. You know, I've listened to some other tattoo podcasts and here and there and what have you, and that's why when I decided that I was going to start one, I was only going to talk to people that had been tattooing 20 years. Because we all know who's tattooing the rap stars and who's, you know what I mean, we see that stuff all the time. But where we all came from and where this has gone to is exactly where we came from. So getting those stories about Rolo, the stories about Rick. I'm going to have Thomas Pendleton on, who Thomas was the apprentice that Rick took on right after my apprenticeship, right before he kicked me out of the fucking shop and told me I couldn't work there. So he's like, "Oh man, you're done, dude. You got to get the fuck out of here, man. I got 2 months, you know what I mean?" And that was it. And fortunately, I have Thomas's first tattoo on my back, which is rad. But being able to talk about Rick, because I was married at the time, and my chick was pregnant, so I was having to jump back and go home and handle business, you know what I mean? And Thomas got to hang out with Rick. They drove together to work. And so did we, but you drove together to work. They worked at the end. They went to fucking dinner. They went to the Blue. You know what I mean? Thomas just sent me some pictures of Rick spraying his car with no fucking mask, smoking a cigarette, just spraying the fucking car. This is how you do it, Thomas. Like this, up and down, over into saturation, man. You know what I mean? So I'm really looking forward to people getting to hear those stories. Let's jump right back on. I just ran out of time. Oh, Jesus. Winn's World Podcast, excellent. Come on. No, Lefty, I didn't die. Sorry. I don't know why I keep forgetting about that, looking at the top. Because I'm always looking down at who I'm speaking with, so I'm never looking at the top to be all like, "You got 2 minutes, motherfucker." And I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean 2 minutes, man? I can talk as long as I fucking want, man." You know what I mean? No, Lefty, I'm not dead. Dude, just because I'm old doesn't mean I'm just going to fucking die. So, I love you, man, but yeah, totally. Anyways, there's Aloha Monkey. Jojo just joined. I'm going to go ahead and see if... where's Josh? Nope, Josh ain't on yet. Let's see. Not you. Dead the podcast. Haha. Let me hit text him really quick. This is what I look like when I'm texting on the toilet. Just wanted to let you guys know. Oh, damn. People are at the tax chat. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, where is it? Where is he? Come on. Come on. We're almost there, dude. We're almost there. There we go. Add. There we go. There he comes. Dude, it was much easier the second time, dude. Like,
Ah.
there you go, bro. Sorry.
Full parts.
I swear to fucking God, dude, I never fucking look up at the top and there's a big fucking, on the top when you're doing the live, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a pretty good size, man. You know what I mean? And it counts down from 2 minutes. And because of the fact that, like, I'm always looking down at the feed and at whoever I'm talking to at the time, you know what I mean? I never look up there, and then it just goes bleep, done, gone, see ya. Fucking goddamn technology.
Chad, I know that kid from high school. What up, dude?
Oh, that's rad, man. That's rad. But yeah, like I was saying, man, it is such a dude, really, it's such an honor to have you on, man, and really to meet you and to know you now, and to hear these fucking stories, because nobody's gonna hear these stories. You know what I mean?
I'm totally blaming this on 5G, not on old people, by the way.
Yeah, 5G sucks, dude. It'll give you brain cancer.
And it'll fuck your feet up.
Yeah, it will.
Fuck your live feet up.
For sure, man. For sure. So, dude, like literally, dude, I'd love to have you back on, because I'm sure you have some really, really, really cool shit to show us at some point.
Oh, yeah, man. I'd love to. I'd like to actually end with something to show. Right now, it's one of my faves.
Dude, that shit behind you is just sick. What the heck?
Oh, that's just Matt Areola. He's a good friend of mine. Those are some prints of his. We
Oh,
got some
dude.
Todd Noble painting back there.
Nice. Just some shit you got laying around. It's cool.
Then we got
Oh, there's a little Chris Brand there.
yeah, Bob. There's a Malone original up there.
Ooh.
Which way? There we go. Damn it, this back. Here we go.
There it is, right there. That's beautiful, man. Dude, I remember when I got Malone's book. Dude, I couldn't put it down for days.
Oh yeah, man. His book was awesome. It was cool to be around there and watch him paint all those things, because that's what he did. Painted them all at the Monkey. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, all those paintings that were like had the big white borders. Those were all based off of a Valentine that he was given to his wife or girlfriend at the time, Linda.
Oh really?
And yeah, so he started to do Valentines for her in that fashion on those big Cottonelle 12x16 pieces of paper.
Oh wow.
And then it turned into her encouraging him to do he was making up like fake biker patches. So like the red ass apes of Tarzania, or like I forget the Philly one that he did, or the one he did for the Horny Vandals of Toms River, New Jersey, that he did for what's his name, Swaggart, I think it was. But anyway, yeah. So just to watch him paint those were so amazing. Keith and I would get there early in the morning and like try to see who could get there first, because Rollo would get there early in the morning and paint, and then the shop would open at noon, and he'd go home early in the afternoon after we ate lunch.
Yeah.
Because he'd start falling asleep and shit. And so when we got to the shop, sometimes there'd be like a finished product up, you know, like
yeah,
that water one.
Oh wow.
You know, so I just straight nabbed that. And so we'd try to like, you know, throw down $300. Like, I'm putting all my money on this one. Keep this one's mine. And he'd be like, "Fuck you, this one's mine." But we did that every morning if we could try to get our hands on them.
That's funny, man. That's funny. But you know, that was the thing when I first got to Burt Grimm's, and Rick started telling me the stories that Bob and Colonel Todd would get there at like 8 a.m. and they would start painting, and they'd paint until like 1, you know, and then they would go for a liquid lunch, man, down around the corner, man, and come back, and then they'd finish. Yeah. Dude, and I can just remember this one sheet that Bob had done. And it was so classic because you could see the transition of him kind of catching a buzz through the whole sheet. The last one was this last one was this fucking Viking, man, and it's got the Viking helmet's like squishing his face down, and it's literally the best and the worst piece that I've ever seen by him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we were all flipping coins on who was going to tattoo it on who. You know what I mean? We still had the acetates, back then, yeah, that shit was cool, man.
Acetates, for those that don't know what an acetate is, it is
Oh yeah.
how patterns were drawn.
Yep. And then you had to do them twice. You had to do them on either side.
Let me do this here.
Did you ever have to make an acetate?
I did make one. I didn't ever have to make one.
Yeah.
I did one to know what it was like.
Dude, those things are not fun. I had to do about 23 of them.
That's horrible.
Oh, it was so horrible. And the worst part was the first couple, man. Like, I think the first one that I did, I had my hand, my thumb and my index finger were holding it down, you know what I mean? Kind of so I could get that almost like a stretch, you know what I mean? Like I was almost stretching.
Oh, yeah.
And
I get what it was teaching you, and it's like all about engraving, right? That's what Ed Hardy started to rule is second that he touched tattooing machines, because he was an engraver.
Yeah.
He could engrave intaglio prints. He could do copper. He could do wood. He could cut.
Yeah.
He was already a hoary. As a printmaker, he was a hoary. He was already a cutter.
Yeah.
And so when he grabbed a single needle and was just like, "Oh, Jack, this is how you use it," ah, and he just like did single needle better than any of those guys had ever done single needle on his first go at it. It's like, oh, shoot yourself in the face. It's fucking Ed Hardy.
Yeah, totally. Dude, the last time that I was up at Tattoo City and Khalil was working on my sleeve. So I'm laying there, right? I'm laying there, and Khalil's really close to me. I'm kind of down on my back, and he's like, leans over to me and he goes, "He's here." And I was like, I'm like, "What? What?" And he goes, he's like,
Khalil does it all spooky too.
Yeah, you know how Khalil is, man. He's like, dude, yeah. He's like, "Oh, shh, dude, he's here."
What up, Wayne?
And I'm like, "Oh, who's here?" And he goes, "Fucking Ed's here, man." So Ed walks by and he's all like, "Hey, Ed," and he's like, "Hey, Khalil." And he walks down the hallway and then he turns around and he goes, "What you got going on in here?" And he goes, "Hey, Ed, by the way, do you know Chris Winn?" And he's all, "Chris?" And he goes, "Yeah, he's one of Rick Walter's kids." And he's all like, "Oh, Rick's kids." And he walks in the other room, he grabs a chair and he sits down, man. And I'm getting tattooed and I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. And he's telling me these stories about Rick, man. And he's talking about Rick and he's like, asking me about him and shit like that. And he's like, "Oh, dude, working at Burt Grimm's, man, that dude, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, fuck, you know what I mean? Meanwhile, Khalil is just pissing his pants in laughter because he can see the look on my face, man. And I was just like, oh my fucking God. And then he's like, "All right, well, I got to get out of here, man. So I'll see you guys a little bit later, man. It's really great to meet you, Chris, man. Give Rick my best." And I was like, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." And he walks out and I was like, "Oh, dude, I think I might need to take a break." And he's all like, "Why?" And I go, "I think I just shit myself. I'm not sure exactly what just happened, but it was like seeing God." Yeah. It was crazy.
And that's how Ed hits me every time. And I mean, he's like damn near a family friend by this point with Doug and Rollo and all that. But and he's always been super kind to me, especially since Rollo passed. I have a funny story involving Rick Walters, Ed Hardy, Jack, Bob.
Oh, I want to hear this one.
So Ed Hardy energy drinks hot at the time, and I'm getting my back started by Bob Roberts, and this is like early 03, 04. It's like Ed Hardy's even wearing Ed Hardy. You know what I mean? It's early. So the shirts had just popped, and he had the store on Melrose right at the end, and it popped off, and he did those sheets with the did designs for like Brad Pitt, and like they were dope ass sheets too, man. God. Who has those 15 by 20s? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
What's up, Christian? And so anyway, I'm getting my back out, and there's a two-part to this story, but I'm out there in LA. My girlfriend has a friend, her sister lives out there, so we're going back and forth. I commit to a back project, just get the perimeter of my battle royale outlined. Bob's like, "Ed's having a show tonight, do you want to go?" And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be great." He's like, "You wanted to get those prints? We'll go get some prints and then we'll go to the show." I'm like, "Sounds great." So we go to the show. We get out of the big ass truck. It's just me and Bob show up, and Jack's outside smoking with Rick. And so I walk up, and he's like, "Hey, this is Josh." And I'm like, "Jack, we met before," because I met Jack in '97 at a Bird Productions convention when I was seeking an apprenticeship. But I didn't have that conversation with him at that point. And so I was like, "We met before," and he shows my back, and Jack goes, "Man, Bob, it's pretty subtle." Bob's like, "Yeah, I only used one needle at 8 round, but he did only use one needle." So that's the way these old men talk to each other.
Totally.
And Rick's just sitting there talking shit. And so we go in the place, and it's all like energy drinked out. And it's this Ed Hardy show.
Yeah.
And Ed's got somebody just threw a hat on him, poor guy. But he's like the highlight of the show. And in the center of the piece, the show, all these paintings are up. And Bob looks over at me and he goes, "Fuck." He goes, he said he probably painted all these before lunch. As he was looking around at this massive amount of collection of art. And so anyway, there's this motorcycle in the middle, and it's all roped off, and it's got Ed Hardy designs all over this raked out, like, SoCal chopper.
Right.
And so Rick Walters and everybody's around the ribbons, and Bob steps right over the ribbon and sits on the bike, shakes it like this, and Rick's like, "Yo, you gonna peel this thing out of here, Bob?" Or Buffalo. He called him Buffalo.
Yeah, it's all he ever called him.
Bob. Yeah,
it's all he ever called him.
So sick. So then he's like, "Yo, Buffalo, you gonna rip that out of here?" And he goes, "Ain't no gas in it." And nobody can find Ed. And he's like, Ed. And people are like, "I don't think he's supposed to be on it." All the PR people are losing it. And he's shaking the tank, and Ed comes over, and he's like, "Yo, Bob, you can't be on that." And he's like, "Hey, there ain't no gas on it, or in it." And he sits down on it, and he puts his feet up, and he grabs the girl that I'm with's sister and says, "Sit on it." And her name's Maria. And he starts singing from the West Side Story, The Sharks and the Jets, Maria, as he puts his feet up, and he's grabbing her ass, singing this Maria from West Side Story.
Oh, my God.
And Rick Walters is in the picture. Jack, I have a picture of it.
Dude, I gotta see that.
I have to find it.
I gotta see that. That just sounds amazing.
That is from Ruben and the Jets. Yes, it is. That's awesome. He has great Frank Zappa stories. Bob does. But, yeah, the character of Bob Roberts has been one of the biggest influences in my life outside of Mike Malone. I mean, Mike Malone taught me a lot about tattooing, but Bob taught me a lot about the big game and about large-scale art. Because Mike was very insecure about his large-scale game, which sounds crazy because he did that Godzilla piece, right?
Right.
But Bob taught me about, like, seeing things larger scale. And if it wasn't for Bob Robertson helping me do it, too, because Bob's like, several drawings that I'd be working on at the time, like sleeves or whatever, I'd bring out, and Bob or Charlie or whatever would help me work on these things and be like, "Yo," like, Bob would be like, "How many dragons you fucking gonna do? Horiyoshi just did like 3 this week. You should probably just look at a Horiyoshi dragon head and then just, trace it until it becomes your own." Like, that's what every Bob Roberts head is. It's a broken down Horiyoshi. I mean, they're born on the same day, which is hella tight, and I love that story.
That's dope.
Same day, same year. But just the fact that he's like, "Yo, you got to just break down the research until you learn it." And he really, without Bob Roberts showing me how to approach a big game, I would have never been able to I never would have just been able. He was the missing link to it. He truly was the missing link to that for me.
I get you.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God for Buffalo Bob.
Thank God for Buffalo Bob.
Man, that's one of the things, man. I that's one of my next calls, man. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna probably try to call Charlie, see if I can get Charlie to just get him on, man, for a minute.
Just somebody get Bob on here.
Yeah.
If Bob's up right now, he should just be watching. Bob, get on here and just check it out for a minute.
Dude. Yeah. This is the best Bob Roberts. Has nothing to do with tattooing. Well, I kind of, or whatever. So I'm an apprentice, and or maybe I had just turned out and I was working for Catfish at the time, but I remember that I had this old ass fucking 65 Jetstar. Yeah, it was the fucking thing was a boat. It was a God, I fucking forget what. Anyways, so I basically drove that back over and borrowed my dad's car so that we could go to the San Diego Tattoo Convention.
Yeah.
Okay. So my dad says it's the middle of summer. He goes, just remember, don't run the air conditioning because the car will overheat. And I was like, all right, no problem. I got you, you know. So I got the windows down and we're smoking and joking, driving down the road, me and my ex-wife, and she's pregnant, you know. And we get down the 5 freeway and we get right into San Clemente, and I didn't even notice, but my chick had turned on the air conditioner. Yeah. So the fucking car overheats. I pull off the side and I pull into a Denny's, right? And I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Fuck, we're going to have to wait for this thing to cool down. It's going to take forever, man. I don't have any water, man. You know what I mean? I'm just starting to tattoo. I don't have any money, really, at all. And she's pregnant and bitching and, you know, whatever. And over in the corner, I see Bob Roberts.
Denny's Bob.
At Denny's with some blonde, right? And I go, oh, dude, there's Bob Roberts. I'm going to go talk to him. And I was like, so I walk over there and I'm like, hey, Bob, I'm Chris. Winn, you know, I'm Rick Walter's apprentice. He's like, oh, yeah, that's good. That's cool. That's good. And I said, hey, you don't happen to be going to the San Diego Tattoo Convention? And he goes, yep, that's where I'm going. And I like, hey, man, my car just overheated. And I got my pregnant wife in the car. And
that sealed the deal.
Yeah, and I go, my pregnant wife's in the car, and I would love it if we could get a ride down there. And he's like, oh, dude, sorry, bro, sorry, I ain't got no room in the car. Because it's a 2-seater. I'm like, okay. All right, well, thanks a lot, man. You know what I mean?
Thanks, Robert.
Dude, I'm like, thanks a lot. So I walk back to the car. Obviously, he didn't fucking see where I was. And the guy gets into a fucking Cadillac and fucking peels out. And I was like, oh, that fucker, man, dude. I was like, oh. She goes, is that Bob Roberts in that big Cadillac? Yeah, and she's like, yeah. And I go, you said he had a 2-seater. And I'm like, that's what he told me. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't about to fucking give me a ride nowhere. He's like, I'm with this blonde. No.
Yep.
Ain't happening, buddy.
I can't believe you had the brass to even ask, Bob.
Yeah, dude. Well, you know, man, one of the things that I've always... Dude, you know, you don't get anywhere by not asking.
I know. I wish Greg was still on here because I walked straight up to Greg in Hollywood somewhere. I think he was at like Fred 62 or something, having a glass of wine. And I had gone into his shop several times in my Hollywood trips and never ran into him. And I ran up and I didn't run up. I fucking walked up to him. I sat next to him. I just go, hey, man, you're Greg James? And he goes, yeah. And I was like, I'm just a huge fan. I just love your tattoo work. I come out here to get my back worked on by Bob. And I've been in your shop a bunch. And anyway, we just struck up a conversation. It was kind of nice. But he already split.
That's rad. You have to...
But yeah, I just have to give props. I mean, that guy, what he's done for tattooing is insane.
Oh, yeah.
And his style is so dope. And yeah, I look to him a lot.
Oh, yeah, man. I remember the first time I saw really real work by him before I even really started getting tattooed a whole bunch was just seeing fucking Tommy and Nikki's sleeves and just being all like, oh my fucking God, what the fuck is that? And I was already into the Asian culture because I had a ridiculously rich aunt she lived in Beverly Hills. Her husband was a music entertainer, lawyer, and shit like that. And all she did was travel around the Orient, man. She'd come out in these fucking kimonos and shit. And there was a fucking koi pond, and dude, and you know. By the way, just to let you know, there's not one podcast that's ever gone on where Robert hasn't said, "Settle down, Chris." But anyways, when I saw that shit, I was like, holy shit, dude, it's just insane. I love you, Robert, by the way.
How did they get those?
Huh?
How did the crew get those?
Dude, I think...
Did they just straight ask him to blast out sleeves on them? Like, yo, I don't care what it is?
I have no idea. I really don't.
Because it's too good for those dudes to ask for that stuff.
Yeah. He's like,
he just happened like all of us.
Yeah, he's probably like, dude, you're a rock star. you know what I mean? You need sleeves, big Japanese ones.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, cool, dope, sick. What up, Joe? How are you, brother? But that is definitely one of the questions that I have for him. And like literally I've already written down like 4 or 5 of them, you know, because it just, that stuff's just, it's priceless knowledge, man. You know, that's, I was so excited to hear you talk about Malone and Underwood and,
Oh yeah,
dude,
it's good stuff.
Dude,
All right, so what question you got?
Does anybody have a question? Let's throw some questions out to the audience. I'm here.
No, I'm not stripping. Oh, it's tripping. Sorry. Oh, JoJo's tripping.
Yeah, you know what? JoJo's been having really.
Because he's up in the hills, dude.
Dude, I know. He's been having a lot of problems with his Wi-Fi lately.
I went to visit JoJo my very first time. I got hit with the very first time I go to visit JoJo, I get hit with my very first tumbleweed, and it blasted my car. I'm thinking tumbleweeds are like just like a wicker basket from like Hobby Lobby that rolls down the. No, dude, it's like part wicker basket, part like cannonball or rock. I mean, it was.
Yeah, they're heavy. Brutal. They're heavy. Out in the desert in 29 Palms, man, they just roll by all the time, man. It's just fucking crazy. They'll take out the fucking fender of your car and shit.
Yeah. They took out my little rental car. It was funny. I don't know when I'm going to give you another tap, bro. Call your congressperson.
That was the fucking best fucking answer ever.
JoJo, yes, I am still doing some, all my backs, I like to do a little East meets West flavor to it. I'm doing a real cool one right now. It's not along the George trip, but we'll talk more about that later. I am doing a cool one right now on a guy that's from Minnesota and Wisconsin. And, wait, I didn't see Wayne's question. But, this dude's from Minnesota and Wisconsin, so it's a timber wolf taking down a buck. So there's like the Milwaukee Bucks and the Minnesota Timberwolves, but it's like a dynamic piece of a timber wolf taking down a buck. And then on his back of his thighs going down to his knees, we have a badger, but instead of doing like the Wisconsin badger, we did like the tanuki with the big ball sack.
Oh, sick.
And my homie's got like a past in hip hop and a past in graffiti and a past in skateboarding, so we have little amulets like the tanuki's holding a Krylon can, but it's done in the Japanese style. And then on the other leg he's got a gopher, but we used like a Caddyshack gopher.
Nice.
And he's carrying this Japanese ribbon. So I do like to incorporate just some type of, you gotta think, or it means something, or there's something to it. I mean, I know it's a visual art form, but it also has to have a little bit of intellect in it, in my opinion.
Lefty wants to know, what's your favorite tattoo on the body? What's your favorite tattoo on
my body or on the body?
On the body or what? Yeah.
I want to know what Wayne Fredrickson asked.
Oh, Wayne said that he goes, how are you guys finding your way through these weird times? He goes, sorry if it's already been addressed. I hopped on late.
That's all right, Wayne. We'll get back to it. It's been a reoccurring conversation.
and it will be.
On my body, my favorite tattoo, it changes all the time, Lefty. Wow. I just shaved, so today my neck by Tim Beck is my favorite.
Nice one.
Freedom is the scariest word in church.
Yep.
And so I like that one. I mean, the Ed Hardy chest piece is like, duh. But, yeah.
You have an Ed Hardy chest piece?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I have pretty much the Ed Hardy chest piece, I think. But.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Wow. That is beautiful, man. That is fucking beautiful.
Oh, and this is crazy. This is the owl from my rib cage. I'll grab it from over here.
What's up, Sullen Clothing? How you guys doing out there?
This is what Ed did. I sent him a picture of this, which is just a bookend that I had.
Right.
And he did this in 90 minutes.
In 90 minutes. Wow.
Yeah, and I mean,
that's a huge...
18 inches tall, 20 inches tall.
Wow. Wow. That's cool.
So,
Yeah, man. What I wouldn't.
and I've never actually showed that, so that's kind of cool.
Thank you,
And it
bro.
was funny. I did a guest spot years later, and Ed's he's just a amazing human being. But years later, I went and did a guest spot, and he let me use his station, which I thought was just so honorable. I had been tattooed there so many times. So he let me tattoo out of the station, and on my station when I got there was this manila envelope with my name written on it. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And inside of it was, the chest was 2001. 2001. So I go to the station. On the station is a manila envelope. On the manila envelope is my name written down. And inside of it was the purple stencil for my chest, the purple stencil and drawing for my rib cage of my owl. And I was like, who saves this shit? Who saves the purple stencil?
Ed.
Ed does. And it was just sweet that he gave them to me. You know, I mean, they were signed and some nice, encouraging stuff on them. And that's just how Ed is, man. He's thoughtful. You know, I mean, there's so many things, so many people have to say about him. But, I mean, if anybody's watched that new Jordan documentary, I mean, the greatest, everybody has something to say about the greatest, you know.
Yeah, but, you know, I think, you know, I was, my buddy, or one of my friends, Jacob, you know, we were talking about this the other day. People just hate you because they ain't you. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of things, man, that I have done in my life that I'm not really super proud of. There's a lot of things that I've said that I'm not super proud of. I don't really, you know, and 10 years ago when I owned my own tattoo shop, man, I really really wasn't proud of the person that I was, man. You know what I mean? 10, 15 years ago. I've kind of changed that whole thing, man, and just had this philosophy of trying to give a little bit more instead of take. You know, I enjoy paying for my tattoos. I don't want them for free. You know, I don't. You know, I try to give back as much as I can. You know, to tattooing.
Yeah, I'm very happy for the crews that I've had over the years, and I owe it all to them for allowing. I mean, I'd have done this in a dark basement somewhere by myself, but for them allowing me to share with them encourages me, and for them sharing with me. I've worked with amazing artists. Josh Palmer was just on here a while ago. He was amazing to work with. He's a great friend of mine, my true ride or die homeboy. But yeah, just the people that I've worked with and my crews that have sustained and stayed there, you know, because all this has been a trial. Nobody gives you the recipe for how to run a good tattoo shop with, you know, concern and care and dignity. And so I've gone through so many different evaluations, you know, does this work? Does that work? And so my crews that have allowed me to go through that and been there is freaking, couldn't ask for anything better.
Well, you know, man, honest to God, man, your name's come up in quite a few conversations over the last years with, you know, through my circles and stuff like that. And I've never heard anybody say a bad word ever. You know what I mean? So that must.
You're not asking the wrong people. I'm just kidding,
dude. No, like literally, I don't even want to talk to those people.
Exactly.
You know, because of the fact that if you got something shitty to say, then take it out behind the backstop and go say it. You know what I mean? Like that's why I always start this thing off with, man, if you're a keyboard warrior and you got some shitty shit to say, man, dude, stay the fuck off. You know, because I will find you and I will blow you up. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I don't need that. There's enough bullshit going on. There's enough people talking shit. And it just needs to stop, man. You know what I mean? It's not getting us anywhere. You know what I mean?
Let me share something with you. We got a little dull spot, and I know Josh is on here, and he likes seeing this thing, and that dude isn't going to be out here for a few months, so we'll just let him see this little guy. Ooh. This is Rollo's little painting book. He did it for a few days in a row. You can see the dates.
Oh, wow, dude. That is rad. Oh, wow.
This is the best, Josh. I will show the owl. Check this out.
Just show the owl.
Uh,
Oh my God.
little miniature Hikai. What the fuck?
Wow.
Skinny white girl breast rose. Look at that.
Skinny white girl breast rose. Hell yeah.
Look at that date.
Oh my.
Just on a roll.
Yeah. Dude, he was blasting through those things.
I know.
Dude.
That rose was sharp. That purple one.
Oh yeah, it was sick.
Fuck.
May Rose.
Here it goes, Josh.
Oh wow.
Back before owls were the shit.
Wow. Look at the way that that wing just sets up on the top of it, man. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude.
I don't know, Josh. I think like Hikai.
Oh my God, dude. So good.
Goth eagle. Fucker. This one's unfinished. This one's cool.
Ooh.
There's gonna be like a Euro dragon.
Dude, I love the mouth on that thing, man. It's so good. Yeah, best banners in the game is right.
That's it.
Best daggers ever, too.
Yep.
I love that it's just sitting on your desk right there, bro. I
Yeah,
love
it's
it.
just a good one. It's just a nice one to have around.
Oh, I'm sure, bro. You know what the thing that I love about the guys that I'm talking to as well is the fact that every single one of them usually either has a shit ton of paintings behind him or a shit ton of books. Or a shit ton of paintings and a shit ton of books.
Shit ton of books.
Yeah, dude, and I don't understand why these kids, you know, they keep fucking hashing up these things because, like, there's just so much stuff you can get off of Google Plus, you know what I mean, or whatever the fuck, dude. And if you're just punching in Sailor Jerry tattoos, you know what I mean, like, dude,
You're fucking up.
you're fucking up, bro. You need to go buy some fucking books. Yeah, I just went.
I mean, books are like that. I was taught that in the beginning. I mean, even in my early, when I got my chest done, prior to like somebody dorking out with me on books, Ed would just walk me down to like City Lights or whatever and show me like what I needed to see.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, cool. So books were just like, it wasn't so easy to get now with Amazon and all that. I mean, you had to find books. I remember when Doug and I went to Japan, that was like half of our trip was just book searching.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hori Shige fucking took me into a bookstore and he goes, "This is the best bookstore around. Just look around." So I'm like looking at all these books and he's like, "Everything here is fucking amazing." Just, you know what I mean? And he walks away, right? And I'm like looking at it and I pull this book out and it looks a little bit old and I fucking open it up, man, and it's nothing but fucking anime Japanese fucking porn. Dude, that's every book I pulled out, man. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, maybe I just picked the wrong one. Let me go this one right here. Same fucking thing."
Dude.
And I look over at him. He's standing at the
different than you.
dude. Horsey is cracking up at the fucking door, just dying of laughter, man. And he's like, "Oh, I told you it was the best bookstore," you know. But literally, I think I left 10 pounds of shit behind so that I could take 10 pounds of shit with me.
And now people don't even know about some of these books, and it's like, oh man.
Well, it's really nice too, man, that there's a couple of a couple of the bookstores over there that are actually selling on Instagram now, so you can get some of the really cool stuff that, you know, I bought a book a couple of months ago that I saw in Japan. I couldn't afford then, you know, and I bought it just, you know, right before I went on this hiatus. You know what I mean? But yeah, I must have, I couldn't even say, probably 50, 60, 70,000 bucks worth of books at this point. At least.
Yep. And it's great because, I mean, it's not like I've read everything, but I have like this ability to pull from them in a way, like reference dictionary, you know, like Ed always talked about, like his encyclopedia of reference is just bigger.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
Like he always said, you don't have to be good, you just got to be better than the viewer.
That's an extremely good line,
gangster,
dude. Yeah, totally. I can guarantee that Jeremy Korn right now in Spokane is all like, I got to write that down right now because that is amazing, dude. You know what I mean? And he'll take notes through the whole thing. He just told me today. It was just awesome, man. Well, dude, seriously, man, this has been an amazing. We've almost been on for 2 hours, and it doesn't even seem like it.
Doesn't.
But
I gotta get some shut eye for sure. Josh, you're so right. They'll just bite the dude who fucking bit the dude who has the book.
Yeah, no shit, man. No shit. There's Jeremy Cords. Fuck yeah, I just did. Fuck yeah, I wrote that shit down. Anyways, Josh, thank you so much, man, for being on tonight.
Thank you,
dude, literally, let's do this again.
I also just want to give a shout out to all. I love you too, Josh. Just to everybody that is going to be getting back into tattooing and that's doing tattooing. Listen, tattooing's been good to you, be good to it. That's just how it works.
Yes.
If it takes a pound of flesh, you give it a pound of your flesh, and it'll give you more. Other thing, there's no need to police each other. If you don't like what another guy's doing, it is not your responsibility to do anything about that. It is just that guy's responsibility.
Amen.
Let people's chips fall where they may. And guys, if there's stuff that you have to do to survive during this whole hiatus, do what you have to do. You're tattooers. You know what you're doing. Be smart. And let us all rule once this whole thing goes away.
Dude, I couldn't have said that better. Dude, that was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Thank you for saying that. Peace and love, bro. Always to you and yours, man. Thank you so much, man. This has been a blast, bro. Thank you. It's meant it's meant the world to me, man. Dude, and I know it has to.
Great time.
Thank you, bro. And we'll talk soon.
Thanks.
All right, brother?
All right.
Peace and love. Get some rest. Talk to you soon. Cheers.
Yep.
Hey, everybody. Wow. That was good, man. That was good. Dude, thank you, Josh Arment, for the 2 hours of just amazing storytelling, and I knew this was going to be great. I've been looking forward to it all week. Jojo Ackerman, thank you for your friendship and your kindness. Robert, man, thank you for turning me on to Josh, man, and getting us in contact, because I'll tell you what, man, a huge part of this podcast, man, is landing on Jojo and Robert, man. I love you guys, man. Thank you so much. Your love and support, man, and through this whole thing has been amazing, man. And I'm just thanks, Wayne. I'm just trying to give back, bro. I'm just trying to give back. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, man. I really appreciate doing these things. I appreciate you guys being here. Let's all get back to tattooing. Let's make it a better decade this next time around. And thank you. You guys all have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your family. Be blessed. And we'll see you on Monday, 8 p.m. I have Luke Westman on. It's going to be a good one. So thank you very much. Again, Josh Arment, man, and everybody, man. Sullen Clothing, man, dude, seriously, the list goes on. The dudes who got my back. So peace and love, man. I'll talk to you soon. Be blessed.